So, hello and welcome to this live stream. This time it will be on porcelain cups. I have quite a few to do. Most of them are already more or less finished, but there's still some detail work and so on. So I'll be going through the porcelain cups quite quickly. And the first ones are joining. Hi, welcome. So I'm just going to repeat that. I am painting on porcelain cups this time. And so they're quite finished. There's just some kind of details and some additions to do on most of them, which means that I think I'll be going through most of them during these hours. And yeah, so you'll get a chance to look at all of the porcelain cups that are coming out for next weekend. I thought that might be fun, and it's actually the first time I've done live stream on porcelain, so I thought that'd be a nice thing to show. So, welcome to the stream, and best wishes for 2022, cute animal stones. Welcome to all of you, those that are joining me for the first time, and those that join me for quite a long time now. There are some that join me for almost every stream. So yeah, this is the first time that I'm painting on porcelain in a live stream, I think. And hi, Joachim, Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you too. So as always, I will be repeating the questions that I answer to, so that if I put this out on YouTube later, people will understand what's going on. So let me know if you guys can hear me. As always, I'm not entirely sure about these headphones, so if you can hear me, let me know. And yeah, as always, just feel free to chat with me or each other, ask questions, or just talk about whatever. This is an informal stream. Hello, Joachim and everyone from Alimk. Hello to you too. Welcome to the stream. Yes, cute animals don't say. So I'm assuming that you can hear me. That's very good. So this cup has already been painted with gold, which is why I have to be a bit careful. Not to paint over that gold. Yes, we can hear you. It's been a while since I caught a stream, but I'm glad I'm here for this one. Wonderful. Herbs, we can hear you. Yes, we can hear you. Okay. Thank you, guys. Okay, you can hear me. Very good. So yeah, let's see here. Best wishes for 2022, Tesla says, and to all of you. It's still strange to hear that number, but it kind of feels right. Hope everyone enjoyed the beginning of the new year. Yeah, so this is kind of an inaugural stream for the year. We have the most incredible... are there any reindeers outside today? I haven't seen any today, but there are a lot of reindeers here in the area. They really like the neighbor field, but they've been on our field once too. And we saw the most incredible northern lights yesterday. It's actually, I've studied quite in the north of Norway, so I've seen quite a lot of northern lights, but that was actually the most extreme I've ever seen it, right above our heads too. And Lena actually managed to film it all, so we were very happy. So yeah, and let's see here. So I was a bit unsure what I'm going to do with the things in the background. So I think since I'm going over everything, I'm just going to do a little bit on that too. So that's going to have to stay very far in the background, but I'm going to try to just do it very softly. Hello to everyone who are joining. You are all very welcome to the stream. And hi, Emuna, and I recognize some of you, and some I don't. So yeah, this is going to go on for a few hours, I think. I have lots and lots of candle glasses to go through. As I said in the opening, I am quite nearly finished with most of them, but there's always more to do. And I thought it'd be fun to kind of show you guys how I do it, and because I haven't painted on candle glasses before. Okay, before this is getting too boring, I have to try to paint something here. I haven't seen one of your live streams in a long while. I haven't had one in quite a while now. So yeah, I'm happy to be back. So yeah, I wanted these things in the background. I'm not entirely sure what they are, and I don't think I'm going to explain that too much, but kind of some leaves and just some plants in the background. happy to see you live as well, Alex says. I'm glad that you guys are joining, and I thought Sunday might be better for a lot of people. So yeah, I'm gonna keep this going for a while. Lots and lots of cups to go through. So we are going to have a launch next weekend, we think. And Lena is working on a video. That might come out at around the same time, maybe, no promises. So yeah, so I thought it'd be good to show you guys. Oh, I have to be careful not to shake everything too much. I'm going to get a better setup at some point, but for now, this is what we have. So yeah, as I said, this is already, it's not that easy to see here, but it's already been painted with gold, so I have to be careful and not to paint over that. But I can do a little bit of a kind of shading work and so on. You don't recognize some of us because we're tree spies who want to see what you're doing. Well, I do recognize you though. Let's see here. I just have to get a red color. Alright. And yeah, the day is gonna slowly... It's actually getting lighter now. But this is basically evening up here. So it's going to be dark in about half an hour to an hour now. But it's nice to get some kind of the background there first. But it's going to disappear pretty quickly. Alright, let's see here. So to get a bit more shadow on the leaves. Let's see here. Emma and Emuna, it's been a while. Happy New Year. From Senpai. It's good to see the regulars attending. Yeah, once I get a better setup, there are going to be a lot more live streams. What I'm imagining is 2 cameras, one on the painting, quite close up, and then further away so you can actually get the entire setting, and so on. So I'm looking forward to that. How many hours of light at a daytime? So we have, I think the sun is up at about 10, but it's probably light now from 9. And then it goes down at, well, now. So like 4 hours. Okay, I'm just going to go through the leaves pretty quickly. And then we're going to go around and do the grasses afterwards. I do like to focus because I have one color now in my brush. So yeah, we don't have a lot of hours of daylight, but it's slowly coming back. I changed my profile picture. Yeah, that did confuse me, Senpai. That is not okay. That is the main way that I recognize you guys is your profile pictures. That is very confusing. Happy New Year to you too, Emma says. Emuna says. I'm sorry. Sorry about that. No. Valput is Emma, and Rainbows is Emuna. Sorry. That's the problem. When I learn your names apart from what it says in your profile, I get very confused. Yes, Emma. Emma is Emma, and Colors of the Rainbow is Emuna. Let's see, to keep. So let me know if there's anything else you want to see, or if it's not, the quality isn't good enough. I can always try to change some things. Superb travails. Travails work, I think. Thank you, Pierre. So yeah, this is what sometimes I don't really have the time to, but this time I have a little bit more time. So I can just go over everything and kind of be kind of nitpick and just do some very small detail work and lay in some more colors in some places and so on. And this red color is it often disappears a bit, so you have to add layer after layer of it to get any color at all. Let's see. So yeah, everyone, feel free to chat, talk, ask questions, talk to each other. This is going to go on for a while, so feel free to join and leave and join again. What's it like living in your new home? It is wonderful. It's really, really good here. It's wonderful. It's very quiet. We're very much in our own little space here, and it's been great. It's such a beautiful place, and the nature is just spectacular. And we're at the end of the road. So this is the end point, really. So no one drives past much, only the reindeer herders on their snow scooters drive past, which is just cozy, really. So it's a wonderful, wonderful place to live. Yeah. I can chat and paint, so great. So great you can. Yeah, I have developed that over the times. Especially for work like this, it works really well because I know exactly what I have to do, and my hand can basically just do it while I chat. Can't, alright. Well, some things I can't. If it's more of a challenge, if it's something new, then it gets much more difficult. But since these are kind of things that I've done so many times now, that my hand can kind of take over and I don't have to think much, and so it works. That's the only reason why it works. But on the little wooden talismans and so on, I can't, because then I have to keep holding my breath, and it got very strange last time I tried to do a live stream with that. Glad the move went well. Traditional says hello. Hello to you. Went well. The stream is on a good day for me. Back to school tomorrow. Oh, school. Yeah, I thought Sunday was a good day. I've often had these streams at very strange times a day, forgetting that other people have normal weekdays. So I thought this might be better. Sometimes I just kind of get an impulse to do a live stream, and then it's often at a very inconvenient time, and people have watched these streams being at work, which seems to work too. Well, school or work, I have to say. It's well, this of course is work, but it's been a while since I've had to go anywhere in particular for it. Skol är kringla. Kringla, no idea what that means. That might be Swedish or some other word. I have to walk the dog. A little Jack Russell is terrorizing our family. See you later. I will see you later. I will be here for a couple of hours, so perhaps we'll see you again. Cute Animal Stones is a very faithful watcher of the stream. So let's see here. Okay, I think that's the last of the maple leaves. Nice art. Greetings from Greece, Alexandra says. Thank you, Alexandra. Welcome to the stream. As always, we seem to be represented from countries all over the world, which is brilliant. It means pretzel. Kringla. Ah, right, I get that. It's a joke. Well, I did get that part. I have no idea what that means. All right, there I think we have those. Then I'll go back. Hi, Naruto. Hi to you. And yeah, so we'll just go through this again and we'll do the grasses. So, I mean, there's not necessarily that much excitement here to see. but I think some of them are going to be more exciting than others. I have about, I think, 12 cups to go through. Yeah, I keep trying to make them a bit more excited, but it's difficult. How do you manage to paint the gold rim on the mug straight? Well, I do have an electrical, what is it called? A kind of a round thing that it can stand on, so that the cup then goes round while I can just hold my brush. And that's how that's been much better. In the beginning, I didn't have that, and well, it was a disaster. Really, it's not really it's really difficult to paint a straight line on a cup. But that's the reason why I can manage to do it a bit better now, at least. So it's just an electrical round platform. Hi from Chile. Hi to you. From Texan Rudolph. All the way from Chile. Yeah, so it's a round platform that goes round and round, and I can put in different speeds, and that's how I can do that. So porcelain painting there are a lot of similarities to oil painting, but there are some things that are just so incredibly different that it's taken me quite a while to get used to it. We don't need exciting much. The painting is very entertaining. Very good. Okay, that. Very good. Because there are very much limits as to how exciting I can do this. I can make this. But, I mean, there are more than enough exciting things around, I suppose. Maybe this doesn't have to be one of them. Absolutely magnificent. How long does it take to paint one mug? The time is a bit difficult, but it takes at least a week to have one finished, because I have at least 7 or 8 layers, and they have to be in the oven to burn in the kiln for a night. And then it can take maybe everything from 15 minutes to an hour to paint a layer. So I mean, it can be quite a bit. So I think maybe a day might not be unreasonable. A bit less. So in a week, maybe I'll have 10 cups finished, maybe. So it takes a while, and there are lots and lots of stages. So this is one of the last layers, and it's been at least, I think, 7. First it's just the color, and then there's kind of a shading, and then some of the plants and stuff come in, and then the details come on, and it just takes ages. And the more I learn, it actually, while some things do go faster, it seems to take longer too, because there are more things I can do, and so it's going the wrong way at the moment. I thought I would always just become faster, but then of course you learn new things and have new ideas, and then suddenly it actually takes longer. And welcome to all. I see there's a brisk turnover here, so if there's anything you don't understand what's going on and so on, just ask. I have no idea who's staying and who's switching and so on, so just let me know if there is anything. This is so it's porcelain, and there are special colors for this. I have some powders, and then I burn it in a kiln afterwards. Let's see here. Yeah, and if there's any ideas how to change it, those are welcome. I might not necessarily listen to them because I might not be able to, but you are very welcome to comment on what I'm painting too, if there's any ideas or so on. Now, of course, these are very close to finish, so there are limits to what I can do, but I have put in some things sometimes. I did put in Mars at sometimes at a comment from BRW, and sometimes there are things I can do. So I think green on the leaves, and some details in the background, maybe a little bit more black on the tree, and then I think we'll switch over to the next one. What about a book you're currently reading? Well, I have quite a few different things that I am currently reading. I do love, still haven't gotten to The Name of the Wind. I have a huge book that I am reading, which is a huge fantasy book, which is just brilliant. I love to sometimes just go into, we're under the spell, that's why no one is speaking. I'm very good. To delve into new worlds. So I am reading, I'm not entirely sure what a huge fantasy work by Stephen Erickson. So that's kind of the thing that the Malison book of the something, which is kind of for the fantasy, and then I'm reading a kind of a political thing on the side. I remember The Name of the Wind. Yes, I did. It's still there on my list. It's just I have to find the right time for it. I am now into my 6th book into this series that I'm reading, which has 10 books, and they're all about 1,000 pages long. So I read the books and I listen to them as well. So I always have both of them because I like to listen to them while I just put on some Enya songs during that. I always put on Enya. I listen to a lot of Enya. But I paint so much that I can't just listen to Enya. I have playlists that are only Enya with all of the different songs from all of the different albums. So that's, Enya fits very well into this kind of work. An essential part, you could say. Time is of the essence. There are so many things I want to do. It's just finding the time. Well, I like to find things that I can do while I'm doing the thing that I have to do. So while I'm working, and this obviously is my work, I can then listen to books and so on. And that way I actually get it done. Let's see. Oh yeah, I do have to do the leaves too, which is going to be the same color. But at some point, I think I would like to switch over to a new cup. Are there any wishes? I think I have cups from most seasons that I'm working on. I like to have a selection. I mean, winter obviously would fit well. And I think we're going to, as I said, go through most of them. I have some northern lights, I have some snow. Autumn is always my favorite. Well, I think that's basically what we're doing now. I think this might be the only autumn one for this launch. I have them all standing in front of me here. I have a Highland one, which might be a bit autumny, but the colors are a bit wrong. Spring, something with water. Okay, these are... do I have something with water? I think I have a very small little river in a Northern Lights painting. But there's not much water going on there. I think the water one was preserved for my Northern Lights, please. Spring, looking to the future. Okay, with that many opinions, I think basically I am free to... Well, we're going to go through all of these. I think I have something that's a kind of spring, but now that I'm looking at it, I have to admit that that might have been an omission. It's actually mostly winter, really. It's night and winter. And a Highland one, which could be spring, autumn, or summer, really. And yeah, I am sorry that I asked you guys because I don't really have much of a choice. But I think I'll switch over to the Northern Lights one first, and then we'll see. I think that one had some water too. Winter is still nice. Very good. Okay, let's see. So the leaves. But I think some of the detail work here is, well, there's not much going on there. So I think actually I'm going to put this away now and we'll get to the next one. That makes sense. You paint what you see. Yes, that is true. Well, I paint quite a bit from imagination, but mostly I paint from, the things that are around me. And so that, well, that happens to be winter, as you can see. All right, so winter's beautiful too, especially in Norway. This is true. Okay, so I have this one. Oh, let's see, I have to get rid of my my fingerprints first. So this one I'm struggling a bit with the Northern Lights, so that's not going to actually be the last one of the layers here, I think. Let's see. And then there we are. Okay. So here the Northern Lights is still a bit, Well, wow is a good, thank you. That's at least hopeful. So I think I'm going to start with actually painting some blacks in first and then some green for the light in afterwards, because there's some things I would like to not get rid of, but actually moderate a bit. And so I'll go around once with a bit of black first, and then we'll get the Northern Lights in again afterwards. That might not be such a good idea, actually, when I'm thinking about it. It's going to remove all of the... no, I have to do green right away. And I'll get in... We had amazing Northern Lights, as I said at the beginning yesterday. Just incredible. Never seen anything like it in my life, so I'm going to draw upon that. And we'll see what comes of this. Lena has made quite a lot of videos and time lapses from that, so you'll see what I'm talking about. It was just incredible. Stronger than anything I've ever seen over the entire sky. You can only really use a Welsh word for that. Senpai says Pridefirth. It translates to beautiful, but it means a step above beautiful. Oh, thank you. Much appreciated. All right, let's see here. So the way we saw it yesterday was wonderful. It was kind of these dancing lines. So you always have to, with the Northern Lights, figure out which direction do they come from. So I've already done the lines in this direction. So I'll have to keep that because they all come from the same direction when they come down. When is a new video going up on Lena's YouTube? So I'm not going to make any promises, but it might be around next weekend. She's working hard on it. And I think the Northern Lights that we had yesterday evening were kind of some of the last shots that she needed. Yeah, let's see. So, okay, so the Northern Lights have these lines. Lovely, thank you. Love the mug. Well, thank you very much. So it's so the Northern Lights, it comes down in lines. It looks kind of very fluid, but it still has these particular lines when it's coming down. And now it's still a bit of a mess here, so I would like that to be a bit clearer. I'm going to use a bit darker green this time to get kind of the various colors in, and then I think I'm probably going to have to paint on it once or twice more afterwards. So this is the problem with porcelain. when you paint on it, it's difficult to change things because you can't remove anything really, and it's difficult to truly paint on top of something else because it's all very much burned into the cup. But what I'm hoping for is to make more of these lines and make it a bit more clear how it kind of flows. Elin has already published a story with what we saw yesterday, but that's only taken from my phone, so that's nothing compared to how it looks on her camera. Yeah, I've been sitting in the window now throughout the entire night for quite a long time now, for a couple of weeks. Every time there was kind of any Northern Lights activity, I've been sitting there and nothing came. And it's been incredibly frustrating. And then yesterday, the entire sky just lit up. Someday I'll see the Northern Lights. Oh yeah, you must. It's just incredible. And the show that we had yesterday was beautiful. So we had the entire sky from one end to the other was lit up. And it got purple, and it was just incredible. So yeah, finally I got what I was looking for. We've had Northern Lights before here, but nothing like yesterday. And this really doesn't do it justice. But this is kind of how it looks when it's further away, if it's a bit weaker. But the way it was yesterday, it was just right above us. And I'll have to try to show how that is at some point. Because that looks very different. It looks, when it's right above you, it just comes straight down. And it looks incredibly close. And yeah, and there are different colors and different green tones. There are blues. I can get in a little bit of blue here too. Even some oranges and yeah. So for anyone who has a wish to go and see the Northern Lights, I cannot recommend it enough. But make sure that you go at the time with Northern Lights activity. But I suppose for most people you do actually have to travel somewhere, because it's you have to be incredibly far north to really see them well. And I've been trying to calculate how many people really live as far north as we do, and there are a few million, I think, that live further north, but not many. This is one of the prettiest so far. Thank you very much. I'm still a bit concerned about these Northern Lights, but I hope they're going to get there. It's difficult to get the flow and the lines. I've been struggling with it for a while, especially now that I'm trying to get a bit more detailed with them. Just being in Scandinavia would be a big thing. I really want to travel in the... I thought you said you want to travel to the future. You want to travel in the future. Yeah, I mean, there are so many wonderful things to see. And yeah, Scandinavia, I can absolutely recommend it. And we do want to travel further north again too. But now we just have to actually, arrive here. And what we saw yesterday with the lights, we don't actually have to travel any further north to see them. I can imagine that actually yesterday, when the lights are really strong, when you're really far north, you actually see them in the south. So yesterday, I think the people in the very north of Norway, or in Svalbard or something like that, actually saw the lights to the south. And I wouldn't be surprised if people even in Scotland could have seen some of it. But of course you do have to be far away from artificial light if you want to see them further south. Let's see here. So yeah, these kinds of things that I paint now, even more than everything else, really depends on a lot of layers. So this is not going to be the finishing, the end point of these lights, I think. It's just a stage in between. And then I think some highlights down in the landscape. And then, well, the stars are going to be a bit gold and silver, but it makes no sense to do that on a live stream. Because when I paint gold, like this up here, it's actually just brown while I paint it. They can very occasionally be seen very faintly in Wales, but whenever that happens, we seem to get even more rain and cloud than usual. Oh yeah, I know that feeling. On my birthday, the 19th of December, we did, it was incredible Northern Lights, but at the exact point when they started, the clouds came in, and it was so frustrating. Which is why I was so happy yesterday, because finally we had about the same amount, actually more Northern Lights, and finally we could actually see it, and the clouds went away. But that's the thing with the lights. There's so many factors that have to be right. And if there's a full moon, it can be really annoying because it takes away quite a bit of it. But then you have days like yesterday where everything is right. The moon just went under the horizon, the clouds went away, and so on. But yeah, I think with really, really strong northern lights, I think I've heard tell of them even being, say, seen down to Spain, but then it has to be so strong that we probably wouldn't see it here, because it would be so far south. And I think to see them that far south, that happens once every other year, I think. Although I did hear about a time when, I think in the 1800s, at some point the northern lights were so strong, the activity, that they actually were able to speak on telegraph lines without power. So they can be ridiculously strong and actually start interfering with electrical activity here on Earth. And I cannot wait for you guys to see what Lena filmed yesterday. It's going to be in the next video, I'm sure, the northern lights that we saw. Alright, so this is going to seep into it, and it's going to look a bit different once it's burned. So I'm just going to have to leave it like this and then see what happens. But now I think the landscape, then I can move this a bit closer. And those trees need to be much, much wider. So that they're easier to see. Let's see. And I would show you guys a bit more what kind of oils and so on I have, but the setup here is very, it's not very sturdy. I mean, I can do it once and hope that nothing goes wrong. So what I have here are the different powders. And there are the different glasses and things that I have to paint. And now I'm just going to put you guys down again. Northern lights are sometimes seen in the north of the Netherlands, but not in Scandinavia, but faintly. Yeah, I can imagine. Especially if you're at some point where the horizon is low, and I suppose in Netherlands it usually is. And not too much artificial lighting. then you can sometimes see it. People, I find often, people don't actually believe it and think it is northern lights. When it's further south, it often just looks like some white lights on the horizon. Will you be painting any lanterns in the near future? Yes, I will, but I'm not entirely sure what kind of lanterns. I'm on the lookout for new ones. And I still haven't found the kinds of lanterns that I would like to paint on. So it's hopefully soon, but it could take a little while. I know for the Netherlands, by the way, I've never seen the northern lights here. They're only sometimes visible on our islands, right? Yeah, away from the people, I suppose. So yeah, I will definitely be painting more lanterns, but I am, yeah, as I said, I'm on the lookout for new ones. Okay, let's see here. So let's get this a bit more like this. Okay, and it won't be as white as it looks now. As with everything with porcelain painting, it often will look a bit different once it's been in the kiln. But yeah, I would like to have a little bit more life into the landscape, and that's best achieved at this stage with some highlights. And I have to make sure not to make too much movements here. As I said, my setup it's a bit amateurish at the moment. I am hoping to inherit Lena's computer and then I will have some better setups. And I can move it over to YouTube and have a larger screen. There we are. I love your art and I love Lena's videos, Daniel says. Well, thank you so much. That's really appreciated. So glad so many people are following along with our journey. So if I suddenly get quiet, it's because I'm doing these little details here and I sometimes need to hold my breath a bit. To get the lines, well, I usually don't do the absolute tiniest detail work on the stream because my voice gets a bit strange and I get a bit strained and I can't think as well. But that's what's to be done on this on this cup, and I'll do my best. But that's the explanation. If I sound a bit weird, that's because my concentration has to be kind of split here. How do you keep the paint on the cup? Do you have to fire it again? Yes, I have to fire it again and again and again and again. So this will be fired again and probably be painted on again and then fired again. So this has probably already had 7 or 10 times in the kiln. So after every layer I fire it, and then the paint merges with the glaze, and then it's permanent. Which of course means there are no changes to be made after that point. But it also means I can paint on top of it very well, with no fear of disturbing the paint in any way. And I think some of those stars can be quite a lot clearer. So I thought I might do some gold on them, but that'll have to be at a later date. But I can do with some white on top of some of them. But yeah, I think the landscape will already be quite a bit clearer with these highlights. It's here. Okay, and I usually keep kind of slavishly to a light source, but my theory here is that the light, as we saw yesterday, is kind of coming from the northern lights. And that will mean that there are light sources everywhere. And I'm just gonna highlight where I think it looks nicest. It's perfect. Thank you very much. Hopefully not too perfect, because I am going to change a few things. Well, just with the highlights and so on. Let's see. And with that river, I'm not entirely sure if there's that much more to do, but maybe we'll get back to it. I am also an artist, and sometimes it's hard to stop. That is very true. I have destroyed a huge amount of paintings, but I did find that eventually, even if you destroy your paintings, you learn new things. And so I've often resisted the urge to stop, well, not the urge, but actually people told me you should stop or it'll destroy the painting. And after you've destroyed a few paintings, you actually find, oh, it actually does get better. You actually do learn things. And so I only really stop when I actually feel that it's, well, either I don't have any time because it must be finished, or it actually feels finished. Love from India. Welcome to the stream. Love from Norway, Shivani. Love from France. Beautiful. Thank you. You are both very welcome to the stream. Shivani, I think you have joined quite a few times already. I'm starting to recognize your name. Always enjoying that when I recognize someone. Love from New York. This is a very, very international stream, which is wonderful. And it's getting darker outside. It's actually supposed to be quite wonderful northern lights this evening too. Probably not the way it was yesterday. But if well, I don't think we're going to be able to see it out this window, and it's going to be much, much too early. But I was thinking even if there's any way to actually see the lights in the stream, but I don't think this phone could pick it up. Love from Hungary, from Susan. Wonderful. Let's see here. Well, I could do the stars while I'm doing the... Oh, I really do need to keep my breath for that. Let's see. Love from Portugal. Oh, we're getting quite around the world. Hi Joachim, Happy New Year from Phantasmas, who's also a regular here. Happy New Year to you too. Happy 2020. I have to remember that now when I sign. I keep wanting to sign with 2001. But that's right, we're in 2022. That makes us two from Portugal, just living in the UK for now. Well, then Portugal at the moment is absolutely the most represented, although I think Netherlands might have two as well. Love from Zadar, Croatia. First one from Croatia. And I am in Norway, obviously. Let's see here. So yeah, this is going to be, the highlights are going to be less extreme than they look now. So it's going to merge with the painting on top, which is sometimes a good thing, sometimes a bad thing. Let's see here. How's the new house? The new house is wonderful. No, I'm French, or at least 2 with Marie. Very good, 2 French then. England here, you're fantastic. Thank you. So the house is wonderful. So for those of you who don't know, we moved here in November and been living here now for a couple of months, and it's great. We live at the end of a road in a wonderful little village. And the house is great. We have most of it is wood heated, and it's just an incredible place, a wonderful house. And we can just step outside, and we're in the middle of nature here, and very much on our own. Just living in Germany now, but I'm still French. So as I said, we're at the end of the road, and it's wonderful feeling of just being completely in our own world here. And this is much more at the kind of the end of civilization than where we used to live, which was kind of apart and kind of in the mountains, but it was still in the very touristy area. It was quite close to the main city and to the capital of Norway, Oslo. And so there were lots and lots of ski tourists and so on. But this is much, much further away. So there's really not many people coming through. And it feels much more its own, really. It's very much its own world here. And you can very easily forget the rest of the world outside, and almost no light pollution at all, so the stars are just incredible, and a wonderful quiet, so there's no main road that we can hear. Do you think you'd get lonely if Lena wasn't there with you? Oh yes, definitely. I have lived like this alone before, and when you live completely alone, you do sometimes get to the point that you're just desperate to see someone, and you can just hear a car and you go, oh no, is that for me? Oh please, please, please. And then he drives away. You're just, oh well, I did want to be alone. No, so definitely the fact that we're now actually 2 here is really the factor that kind of makes me not really require anyone else. Wish my husband wasn't a city boy, and I'm scared of the dark, but we'll convince him one day to move away to nature. Is it in the Arctic Circle? It looks beautiful. Well, it is almost. So it's right underneath the Arctic Circle. Almost on the Arctic Circle, basically, but just underneath. Oh, but being afraid of the dark, I can really understand. I used to be terrified of the dark. But the main way of combating it was really I kept going up to the family cabin completely on my own. Terrorized, staying up in the attic with an axe under my head. But eventually your body just kind of figures out that you just can't be scared all the time, and it dies down. So I can just recommend you not to let that overpower you. I was incredibly scared of the dark. So if I can overcome it, I am sure you can too. You're not 2, you're 3 with Ivy. That is very true. I want to sometimes live in the woods. I'd have to have a dog, but I don't know anyone who'd live there with me. You'll find someone. Yes, this is very true. I should not forget Ivy. We are 3 here. This is very true. And Ivy, of course, makes all the difference. Having a dog is just wonderful. So obviously, if you live far away in the woods, a dog is highly recommended. And we're hoping to find Ivy some buddies too, so that he has some more dog company here. Not a new dog for us, but for some neighbors maybe, and so on. When I go to Portugal, he sleeps with the main light on. Poor thing. But I'm lucky he loves nature, just during the day. Oh yeah, I very very much understand that. I used to be like that too, and I do get some pangs sometimes. Suddenly the old skiers come back, but yeah, it's just some things. If it's important enough for you, there's always a way to overcome fears like that. I have a friend who wouldn't mind staying over, but wouldn't be a permanent resident. Well, I mean, I can always recommend just trying it out alone first, and then you're not so reliant on someone else, and then it's wonderful when that person comes along. So both me and Lena have lived out in nature alone for quite a while, and then we came together. So it's really good to just be alone with yourself sometimes too. It can be hard, but it's very much opportunity for growth. How's the vegan food in Norway, especially where you live? Oh, well, it's not great. And there used to be nothing, but it's become much, much, much better. So there's more than enough now that I can eat the way I used to when I ate meat, basically the same way. And the quality of the vegan food has gotten infinitely better, even in just the 2 years now. So we actually have enough. So it's very possible to be vegan out here. It's not a problem. So it's if you're from the cities in Germany or something, of course you're going to get a little bit of a shock, but there's enough. Having been in Tromsø a few years ago, so looking forward to go there again. Love the north so much, and of course the northern lights and nature. Oh yeah, I studied in Tromsø for half a year, and it's a wonderful, wonderful little city. Incredible place. So yeah, that's beautiful. But I never really got outside of the city, so the northern lights that we saw here yesterday were actually better than what I saw in Tromsø, but that's just because I didn't leave the city much. I can manage very well on my own, but after spending lots of time with people, I get lonely. Oh, right, it gets time to get used to being alone again. Yeah, I get that. Are you into the MBTI personality type thing? Well, into it might be going too far, but I have done that test once. I cannot exactly remember what the quality type were, but I was an what was it called? The not the explorer, but the no, the diplomat kind of a kind of an introverted extrovert kind of a thing. So yeah, I do know about it, and it's I liked it. We mostly eat fruit ourselves, especially many bananas every day. Are they available and payable? Well, payable. Well, that's a general Norwegian question, I suppose. They are available, so we have fruit and we have bananas and everything, so that's not a problem. They're not the most expensive thing, but of course, Norway, everything is expensive, and food especially so. But I don't think it's much more expensive to be a vegan here. Even though fruit, yeah, it does get expensive. But yeah, there are bananas here. We're not that far from civilization. But of course, they've traveled quite far to get here. So that's a different kind of a question. And we do eat them, though. But the food in Norway is just in general incredibly expensive. If you work here, it's much better because even the minimum pay is quite high in Norway. But of course, since we have an online shop, it would of course be much cheaper to live in a different country. Let's see. Okay, I'm just going to do the stars, and then I think we can move on to the next one. Are there any? I'm just going to generalize this a bit more. So I have a daytime winter. I have night. I have a snow cup, which is just basically going to be painting a bit more snow on it. If there are any wishes, do let me know for the next cup. I'm just gonna have a few more stars here on my Milky Way. if you're not recognizing the constellations, that's because this is a completely made-up Milky Way. But I have tried to keep the general shape of it. And my ego needs me to tell you that I am doing all of these stars each one by one, although there are much more efficient ways of doing this. But so you can do the spray thing, and you just spray it with your brush. That looks pretty good, but I always like to have the control. I have seen the Milky Way in the sky here and shooting stars. I love seeing the Milky Way. It makes you you can just fall into it. As I can't really get enough of just praising the area where we live. I'm sorry for those of you who kind of say that getting a bit sick and tired, and I'm sure there are other incredible places in the world, but since we live here now, that the Milky Way is just incredibly strong here and really wonderful. And of course, I do understand that there are probably plenty of people who are much, much happier in the city. And I can understand that. But I think those of us who live in the countryside, there are just a lot fewer of us. We kind of have to harp on about how wonderful it is. Everyone knows about the wonderful cultural aspects of living in the city. So those of us who live far off in the woods, we just have to beat our drum a bit louder. The stars are beautiful. Thank you very much. See, I keep having to remember that stars kind of cluster differently, so that it doesn't look like snow. Love the countryside. Wonderful. Everyone's unique, aren't they? Some people love city life, other people love rural life. This is true. And that's very good. I wouldn't have it any other way, and having everyone either in cities or the countryside. And of course, those of us who love being in the countryside away from people, we are very happy that most other people seem to prefer the city. It would be awful if all of this crooning about the countryside and how wonderful it is results with everyone moving to the countryside. No, I think a lot of people living in the city often just enjoy looking and seeing these things from the countryside, and vice versa too, from us living here, seeing things from the city. That doesn't necessarily mean we want to move to the other place, but we can appreciate the brilliant things that the others have. Let's see. Okay, I think we are done with this one. For now, I'm going to have to put it in the kiln and see how it turns out. The northern lights are going to look a bit different when they're been burnt, so it's not going to look as mushy as all of this. That's just when it dries, it just looks really different than what it looks when it's finished. Okay, so let's see. So, I think I have this one, for instance. I'm not entirely sure what there's still to do. But one thing I could do is I could just do a little bit more, not highlights, but I'm not sure what the other word is. A few more shadows on the trees to make them look a bit more three-dimensional. I think that might be nice. And then maybe a bit of work on the tree. Is it true that the internet connection is good in Norway, even in the woods? Yes, that is true. Norway has a great internet connection almost everywhere. We actually have fiber optics here. But even the VLAN is really good. Holland here, live in the city, but the country world is one street away from my place. I got the best of both. Very good. Beautiful, thank you. That's a nice cup. Well, that is good. That is nice to hear. So yeah, I think just some shadows on the trees, not much work here. Maybe some highlights on the ground. Actually, I start with the highlights on the ground. Now that I mention it, I can see that it really screams out for it. So the trees don't have snow, so that's the reason why I'm not going to put any white on those. But I think some highlights here could be nice, just to give it a bit more life. So like this. Not too much, but a bit everywhere. Let's see. Yeah, just some white highlights going around. So I keep highlighting, and then I put it in the kiln, and then a lot of the highlights just disappear once it's been burned. So I just have to do it over and over again. I'm sure there are ways to make it more permanent and stick better, but since I'm self-taught in porcelain paint, I am sure there are lots of mistakes that I kind of keep repeating that I don't have to be doing. But oh well. And with these highlights, it's easier to see the depth too, and that's good. And I think that's actually going to turn out pretty well. Drawings. Live in Utrecht, and I'm stuck, literally. Haven't left Mom's house literally for over 6 months because we can't stand humans anymore. There's simply hardly any nature here. Oh, I feel you. Oh, well. Oh, yeah, I get that feeling. Hello, Crossy. Welcome to the stream. So glad you managed to join us. And we are not near the end yet, so you joined at a good time. Yeah, I really, really get that problem. I have been stuck in cities myself. It's difficult to recommend anything, and I realize you didn't ask. But yeah, if you can get out, I can hardly recommend it. I'm not sure how much wild nature there is left in Holland. You might have to leave to a different country. Happy New Year, all. Happy New Year, Cressy. Happy 2022. May it be different from 2021 for all of those of you who did not have a great 2021. It's been hard for a lot of people. But I think things are maybe looking hopeful. And maybe 2022 can be a good year. Of course, having said that, leaving all the caveats, but we'll see. We are actually starting to get to know people a bit better here that we have moved, and I am very, very excited and interested to see what 2022 will bring. Not much, a little, moving to Sweden hopefully this year. Oh, wonderful. Sweden is obviously a bit of a competition with Norway, but fine. It's a wonderful, wonderful country. That's not good. All right, to the comment of Katja. I am so thankful I can walk 5 sweet horses. Oh, where I help out with feeding and all of that. Oh, horses. We very much want horses. We already have plans, and hopefully in the not too distant future, we will have some horses here too. Lena has obviously been working with horses since she was a very little girl, and I have some experience myself, and really look forward to that. I have a horse, thankfully. Yeah, can't wait to get horses, but it's gonna have to wait a little bit. I've poured coffee in the Birch Alley cup. Oh, right. Cressy has one cup herself, and will now fully enjoy this nice company. Wonderful, Cressy. Oh, that's a wonderful thought, to know that you have your own cup looking at the creation of new ones. That is wonderful. Well, now you can see the way that I painted yours. I do remember that Birch Alley. Those were actually, I think, the first birches I painted on the cups. was that cup. It took a little while to get there, but it's arrived. Yeah, so all of these cups will be available next week. Will you be having adopted horses, those who haven't been mistreated? I am not sure. I think we might do a mixture. So obviously, our dog is a Romanian rescue dog, and Lena has worked quite a bit with horses that have had trauma before. So that's obviously a very good thing. We thought we might have a few more, 4 horses, so maybe 1 or 2 of them will be. But maybe the 2 first horses won't be, because it is a huge responsibility. So maybe there'll be a mixture. We are not entirely sure. I think it was your first one. Yes, it was Cressy. And welcome to Shell, a very good family friend that I've known for a very long time. Welcome to the stream. The first stream of 2022. And the first time I've painted on porcelain on a stream. So yeah, we would absolutely like horses, and it might very well be that some of them will be rescue horses, but I am not entirely sure. I think Lena will probably be doing it a bit on instinct and seeing what feels right. That's good for you. I just need no humans in my life whatsoever, which is impossible here. I'm struggling with life, trying to survive in this society day by day. Oh, I am sorry. I get that. I have had times myself where I didn't want to leave the house at all, and I didn't. I can really, really feel that. I really hope you can find a good place, both within and without, to get through that. And hopefully these kinds of other kinds of communities can help a bit too. It is important to have some kind of a contact with life, but I understand. There were times where I have had that experience myself, and it can be horrible. So I really, really hope that you can find a good way out. It's both me and Lena have both experienced that, when you just really don't want to see anyone, but you're stuck in the middle of a city and people and places, and managing to escape that, it can really be a challenge, and it can feel impossible, but I assure you it isn't. Very nice, from Mohammed. Thank you. I think I have seen you here before too. I am starting to recognize names. And Leah, I know, I'm sorry, I'm not really going to mention you guys if you're not commenting, because you might want to stay a bit more anonymous. But yeah, I'm really enjoying the fact that I am recognizing more and more of you guys as regular to the stream. And I promise it's going to have a much better quality soon. So I would like to have a camera that's kind of pointed a bit on me in the room, and then another camera on what I'm painting. Keep going, Katya. Keep pushing on. If you stop, you'll never get the chance, Senpai says. To see what's just around the corner. Keep pushing, and I wish you the best. So yeah, I hope that this... that's wonderful, Senpai, and I really, really enjoy the fact that this is a good place in the internet, and that you guys are supporting each other. That is wonderful. So yeah, and since I'm enjoying these streams so much, I would love to have this being much more of a kind of inviting you guys into a world, but I can't do that until I have a little bit more of a setup. So kind of have the entire mood of the room too, because now obviously it's very focused just on the cup. If you want to, you can come to me and my horse. I live in Utrecht's, I'm not going to try to, Heuvelrug, so nearby. Well, that would be lovely too, if friendships between you guys develop. So sorry for you, from Lynn's drawings to Katya as well. I hope you'll find a place where you feel totally in place in a good way. I was away for 15 minutes, and there's a new cup, and it's gotten a lot darker from Emma. Yeah, it's getting much darker now. I think basically in 15 minutes it's probably going to be entirely dark outside. I'm hopeful that you might be able to see some stars, but this is the side where the sun goes down, so that's going to take a while. And the northern lights won't be showing up for a while yet. I think yesterday they didn't show up until 9, but they can come sooner. So maybe suddenly we'll have some dancing lights in the background, but I doubt it. I have made my first painting inspired by Joachim. It's more like a child's painting, but my mother-in-law loved it and she said she wants it on her wall. Oh, that's wonderful, Krasi. You will have to send me a photo of that if you want to. That is wonderful. And do not be too harsh on children's paintings. Those are sometimes the most inspired and wonderful creations. Beautiful. Thank you for sharing the process. Are you very welcome, Stella? Katya says, that's so kind, but I've tried for so long, like my whole life, literally. I watch Lena's videos because I can kind of pretend to live with them and they give me hope. Oh, that's beautiful, Katya. I hope we can keep being there for you. And I know the same feeling. I was struggling for a huge amount of time, and it just seems incredibly hopeless at times. But I assure you it is not. If at some point you're able to live stream the Northern Lights, I'd watch that for hours. Well, the problem with live streaming the Northern Lights is that the only way to get really good photos of the Northern Lights is actually, or video, is to do time lapses, which are photos. So you can't really live stream it with a good effect, because you won't get the quality that you'll get through a time lapse, which is just photos instead of an actual video. But if I could get the Northern Lights in the background while painting, I will try. Really love this cup. I don't know if it's worthy of your eyes. I am sure it is. I was just trying out for myself. Krasi says, I am sure it is worthy. Anything that comes from the soul and it would be wonderful to see. I missed something while I was away, so I don't know what's going on, Katya, but big hug to you. Are you from the Netherlands or Belgium? So what was going on is, Katya says, she's been quite stuck in the city, and as both me and Lena have experienced, it's just feeling, I'm not going to put words in your mouth, but feeling kind of just surrounded by people that, and it's just all getting too much, and there's no way out, really. I really know that feeling, having lived in a little basement apartment in the city and having no way of escaping. And it took ages for that to actually solve and actually get better. I don't have a photo, so I will have to take one. Yes, please do, and please send it to me. Thank you so much from Katya. Yes, from the Netherlands. I was born in the wrong country. Belgium would have been even better. No, Lena gets a lot of that, and I do too, from people that find some solace in what we do. And if just a few people can take some, not just inspiration, but just a kind of some peace and quiet from what we do, we feel honored. And Senpai says, you've been pushing for so long, and it shows how strong you are. And something might make life better tomorrow. I did experience that, actually. It can happen without you even kind of anticipating it. Which is one of the greatest reliefs I found, that life can just sometimes happen, and you can't really plan for it, and sometimes just it changes much quicker than you thought. It can seem like nothing happens, and then suddenly in one fell swoop, or a good swoop, things suddenly change. And that, I find, gives hope. So even if it seems like you know exactly how the next 5 years are going to be, suddenly something happens and everything is different. I mean, I very much found that when I met Lena again after many years, and suddenly, instead of living in the middle of the city, I lived in her van on the way of finding our own place in the woods. It happened incredibly quickly, and was not at all what I had planned, but much, much better. I completely understand, Katja. You are definitely not alone. Please feel free to send me a message if you need to. From Emma. I'm from Belgium. And don't let your mind convince you that people don't care from Senpai. Sounds ridiculous at the time, but I can guarantee people do. And Katya says, you're very wise too, Senpai. That is true. But I'm 34 and jobless. I'm a nobody to anyone. I started a website, though. We want to share my story. Yeah, I recognize that feeling. My God. And especially at that age when it kind of seems like things are kind of passed you by, but things can suddenly change. I promise you. And I am so glad that this can be a place to talk about these things. And yeah, I know there are a lot of people feeling very dislocated by our times. So it's really, really important to find places and fora and ways of living that work. Yeah, I remember I even studied still for not very long ago. I, believe it or not, studied political science, which I had been doing for almost 10 years, not finishing. And I always just kept coming back because there was nothing else. I tried to sell paintings and sell things, and it didn't work. And then I went back to studying and kept telling myself that a lovely office job would be wonderful, and so on and so on, until finally it actually worked out. And it can just be a grind. Strange to think about that. I actually studied political science only 1.5 years ago, which just seems completely absurd. I would never have survived an office job. Hello, Joachim. Watching Lena's videos about your struggles as an artist really inspired me to keep going and keep pursuing my art passion. I just wanted to say thank you for showing us your lovely art. From Heather of the Shire. Oh, that's wonderful. That really means a lot. I'm so glad that it can do that, and that it can inspire. And I really, really hope that more people get the courage for just going for it the way that I probably should have done. Is it special paint you use for the cups? Yes, it is. So it's a special porcelain paint, which is made especially for painting on porcelain. And it's then burnt in a kiln at 800 degrees Celsius. And then it merges with the glaze, and so permanently sticks to the cup, and very, very permanently indeed, because it actually merges with the glaze if things go well. And it's a special non-leaded paint, so some porcelain paints have different kind of heavy metals and so on. But thankfully I found a place that has paint where that's not the case. In England, so they come from quite far away, these paints. So yeah, you can't really just do with oil painting or something like that. That won't stick, but this is a special kind of paint. And there are porcelain paints that don't have to be fired at such high temperatures, which you can just do in your own oven, but they won't be as permanent. Thank you for your answer. You're very welcome. Yeah, that's for everyone. Just feel free to ask questions or chat with each other, or just anything really. Thanks, Joachim. Your videos connected me to very special people. I finally seem to be seen and heard. Oh, that's wonderful, Katja. I'm so happy for that. That really inspires me too. keep going and keep this room open, really. Just for a moment, look to the future after you made it mostly through this. It doesn't matter how strong you'll be then. Everything that you have survived, the story of yourself, will have to tell from Senpai. Yeah, just opening up this space and seeing what comes of it. It's wonderful, and I'm so glad for all of you guys. The people that follow us are really incredibly heartwarming people, and we're so thankful for all of you guys. We seem to be very lucky with the people that have come into our lives through this. Is there a way for me to hide the comments as they are blocking for me to see what Joachim is painting? Yes, you can just swipe them down. So just put your finger on the comments and so on, and just swipe it down. There you are, Senpai tells you. And you'll just see the very top of them. So I would definitely like to open up and this space, and as I keep harping on about, I am going to have a better setup, and then I can have a camera pointed on me and the general space as well as what I'm painting, so it'll be even more interactive and you can see the room a bit more, and it'll be even cozier and more of a world, really. So that's my goal, and I think I can achieve it pretty soon. I just have to get some equipment and inherit Linda's computer. And then we can do even more of this. So what I found really was just that through these live streams and the fact that they're just going for so long, really special things that are completely out of my control happen just with interactions between you guys. And that's just been wonderful. I'm so glad about that. Let's see, now that all of the actual light is gone, I have to see if I can... There we are. Keep going and message me if you need to, Senpai says at Katya. Yeah, so you guys, that's... yeah, I'm so glad you guys are finding each other. Trying to swipe down, but it gets me out of the live. I guess I'm not doing something right. Well, so... hold it on the comments and then swipe it down. So don't swipe down the entire thing, but make sure that you can kind of scroll up and down so the interaction is with the screen, and then you can swipe down the comments. It seems that Senpai is taking over the moderating here, which is very good. Thank you, Senpai. It's always so nice. I always find that the longer I do these live streams, at the time, the cozier and more familiar they get, because the people that actually staying here join. So I think at some point these live streams are probably not going to have to go the entire day. Krasi, maybe you can watch on your laptop, then the comments appear on the right, from Emma. So that's gonna be the plan, to expand these live streams, because they're just well, it's incredible. It's just such a privilege to be able to chat with all of you guys while I'm doing my job and connecting to people all over the world, building a community at the same time. It's just completely incredible. I know that there's a lot of commentary lately about how toxic and horrible the internet is, but it has its wonderful aspects too, and this is certainly one of them, where I'm just so thankful that it would be difficult to be this far away from everyone and the world without the internet. It would be a very different experience. I don't want to steal any thunder, Joachim. Oh, please do. That is not a problem, Senpai. I am so glad that you are doing a bit of moderating here and helping. That was not meant as a jibe at all. I am very, very thankful for that. You are one of my longest stream followers too. So if there's anyone who's earned the right to take on a bit more responsibility here in the stream, it's definitely you. So no, thank you. Please don't stop. And I already feel like I have way too much thunder here because I am the only one talking and everyone else has to write. It feels kind of unfair. So, no, please do go on, and it's always lovely to have you here in the stream. Makes you very active, and that's wonderful, because I am a bit like that too. I like the fact that there's life here. So never apologize for being active and in this stream. And I mean, at some point, perhaps I can even invite some of you guys into the stream. But that'll be at a later time. The landscape you're painting just makes me want to go there and take a long walk. Find more calmness in myself. From Leah. Oh, thank you. I always love that kind of a comment. That means that I am managing to transport the feeling that I want to. I hope I didn't scare you off, Senpai. And a Russian wave. I don't know what that means, but hello to you. Welcome to the stream. Asa, as you have joined the stream quite a lot of times, I think. I seem to recognize you. I'd ask a philosophical question, since that's my part of the contribution. But my mind is blanking at the moment. That's okay. It's beautiful. You're very talented, from Coconel. Thank you. Well, I don't know about that, Senpai says. I'd have to put some work into my appearance for that. Well, we will do it at a later time. But I'm sure that would be fun, actually. We'll see. And maybe at some point other people can paint at the same time. I mean, there are so many ways to expand this. Okay, so I think we're all the way around once here. So I think we'll go over to the next one. Let's see. This is not easy. So I have a Highland one. I'm going to take a little bit of votes. I'm just going to go through the different ones that I have to paint. And if you see one that you definitely want me to take another look at, then let me know. Because I can see that it actually takes a bit more time than I thought to paint on each one. So I'm just going to do a little selection here. And of course, I'm sure I'm going way too fast and you can't really remember them. So I'm going to do this once more. I can see in the... yes, there. There I am. Here we are. That'll be... Oh yeah, there I am. Just want to see if you understand it. Hello. No, I don't understand Russian, but maybe that'll get better. The dark blue or black one. Let's see. The dark blue is probably... So that's this one. And the black one is this one. I really like the dark blue one. So I'm assuming that you guys mean this one. So I'm just going to get rid of my fingerprints. Large tree with yellow sky and pink ground. Large tree. Oh, that one. Yeah, we'll get to that. So I think I'll do the snow one first. That'll go pretty quickly. And then Katya says the large tree with the yellow sky and the pink ground. Is it this one you mean, Katya? And then we'll do that one next. Actually, we'll do that one now. So, exactly that one. Okay, so I'll do that one first. And then we'll go to the snow one. So for this one, it's going to be highlights. It's used in Bulgaria too, Krasi says. It's used quite often. That's the hello, the Russian one. Yes, from Katya. All right, we'll do this one then. And that's going to be highlights. It's going to be snow on the trees in the background and some more snow on the one in the foreground. So it's going to be all the work is going to be snow. So let's see here. Okay, so this is the fourth one. I'm going to be interested to see how many we get through. No idea how long the stream has been going on. It must be an hour at least. Oh, I didn't realize how pretty that one is. Thank you. I did go through them pretty quickly. So yeah, let's see here. I'm just gonna have to mix the white here. And then we can get going. Let's see. All right. Yes, the more highlights we can do here, the more life it's going to be. The stream has been going for about an hour and a half. Well, I think the record so far has been 3 hours. Well, let's see. I would love this one on a lantern one day. Well, I am sure that's going to happen. I often, I don't repeat the patterns necessarily, but I do kind of develop them, and I often steal my own ideas. So I am sure that it'll make it to a lantern. I just have to find the kind of type of lantern. I love the pink one too. Color makes me happier. Very good. Well, then I'm glad that we're doing this one now. Yeah, if we just did a night one, and then we did a winter one. Well, they're all winter ones, I suppose. But this is a good little change. Do you have a favorite art medium? I can't seem to choose just one favorite medium at the moment. Heather of the Shire says, well, that's difficult. So my favorite must be oil. That's what I started with, and I'm always happy when I get back to it. But what I found is that I love I'm completely blanking. The different ones. So having a variety. So if I paint a lot in oil, then I often miss porcelain, and then after a while I really miss glass painting. So I really am really happy with the variety, especially since this is my job and I paint so much. I really need the variety to be able to keep going. But oil, I think. When you're not streaming while you paint, do you listen to music or do you prefer to work in silence? I actually listen to quite a lot of music. And even more, I do like silence too, but I have to admit that I very often listen to audiobooks. Because then I can just delve into another world while painting. But I listen to music, and sometimes I also paint in silence, and that's wonderful. You can get into a different flow with silence. But audiobooks is really one of my favorite. And sometimes if I have some work to do that is just really, really tedious, I can sometimes put on a movie, but that's a bit rarer. Sometimes I've already watched, of course, because I can't really watch it. I have a variety too. I'd love wood burning, oil painting, colored pencil, and chalk pastels. Wonderful. Yeah, a variety part I always love. So I'm not very varied at all in what I paint, but I do like having the different mediums. So oil, porcelain, and glass, and then I paint on canvas and wood. I'm trying to listen to audiobooks. I'd love to make a habit of this year. Well, the wonderful thing with audiobooks is, of course, that you can do it anywhere. So if you have a commute or something, it's a wonderful thing. I bought a cheap oil set a while ago, Snowboard says. The oil is so smooth and very different to acrylic to me. Yes, it is. I've only done acrylic a few times, but it's and of course with different oils you can actually paint very similar to oil with acrylics. But yeah, I found that I missed exactly that. It makes me miss the texture and the smoothness of it, and depending on what kind of oil you use. So, and oil painting is not that dissimilar to porcelain and glass, so it's still it's a bit similar. Yeah, I can relate, Leah says. I love listening to audiobooks while working on crochet projects. Yeah, so you can just kind of drift away into a different world, and having creative work at the same time just really, yeah, makes you drift away, really. And I love that. I have tried oil painting just once so far 2 years ago. I haven't picked up a painting since then. Well, of course, I can heartily recommend it. Yeah, I started oil painting, I think, about 10 years ago. I used to have different mediums. I used to build things with a paper clay. But then just the freedom you get when you paint is just incredible. So I kept going. I'm actually listening to you while cleaning, and as I would listen to a podcast, it's so soothing to listening to you. Oh, that's wonderful. So this can be a podcast too. Absolutely. Oh, that's wonderful. I saw quite a few people that actually listened to me while they worked last time. So it's good to see that there are different uses for this stream. Just finished my first oil painting, Lynn's drawing says. Really love it, but I have to learn a lot. But I had fun with it anyway. Oh, that's wonderful. The beginning is always very exciting because there's so much to learn and you learn so fast in the beginning. Alistair asks, how was your Christmas holiday? So our Christmas holiday was wonderful. Lena's mother came on a visit and it was really peaceful here and quiet. We had... what did we do? We had got the tree and it was really a lovely time. So I started working again pretty quickly, but that's kind of a part of it's my hobby at the same time. And we went skiing. Lena's mother went skiing for the first time too, so lots to learn. And I baked once, then gave up and bought kind of finished things, and managed to have a really proper Christmas. So it was wonderful. And the environment here is just exactly how I always imagine Christmas to be. What do I have to know on picking brushes, Joachim? I felt with my first try that the brushes were very nice, I think. Well, there might be a reason for that. Oil painting brushes I find are often not very nice at all, so I never buy oil painting brushes. All of the brushes that I paint with are actually meant for either acrylics or aquarelle, because they're much smoother and much nicer. So I very much recommend staying away from oil painting brushes, especially if you want to paint finer things, and rather buy the ones that are meant for aquarelles, watercolor, or acrylics, because they're much finer. Hello to Radu Veronica. Welcome to the stream. So that's what I would recommend. It depends on how you paint and how thick you paint, but I've always find that the oil painting brushes seem to be made for people that paint really thick, in really thick layers, because they're really coarse. So I don't like those. So I think if you found that the brushes were really coarse, you're probably painting with oil painting brushes. Thank you for the recommendation about brushes. Oh, you're welcome. So I hope that makes it a bit better. And what I've bought a few more expensive ones now that I know what I like. But what I've actually used to do is I've just gone through eBay and just bought an enormous amount of brushes for like $1 each. And then you get a huge selection. It often takes like a month before they come, but when they do, you could just really figure out what you actually like to paint with. So for instance, Chinese and Japanese calligraphy brushes can be wonderful to paint with too. It's a bit different, but they have wonderful tips. So they look more like this, and I paint quite a bit with those too. So just buy all kinds of different ones, and then see what you like. So I have a huge amount of brushes, and I need about 10-15 different brushes to just paint on one cup like this. So having quite a lot of different brushes is advisable. What do you recommend to paint for the beginners? Well, exactly the same as for everyone else, I think. Is just cheap things, so that because you won't really know the difference with the colors. I know what I'm buying on eBay now. Snow says, yeah, I do. So I could just, the way I started was just with a cheap oil painting set and just to start and just figure out what you like to paint and what to do on the way. And then learn from yourself. I really like to do that, so that you're improving on your own work instead of trying to achieve something that other people do, because that can be very dispiriting. But just seeing what you painted and enjoying it, and then see what you can do different next time, because then you can just see the progress from each painting, and you'll be happy almost every time you paint, because you're not trying to reach some external goal. You're just painting completely according to where you are. Wow, it's beautiful. Thank you, Elizabeth. Hello, happy and a healthy new year from Elizabeth Ryder. Happy 2020 to you. Welcome to the stream. Oh, I do that sometimes, but I keep forgetting that actually even touching a cup like this with the finger then leaves a fingerprint, and I'm trying to avoid that. Yeah, if anyone has any cups or glasses from me with fingerprints on, I am sorry about that. It's something that I am trying to avoid more and more. But yeah, so with the brushes, there's just such a huge variety. But yeah, a lot of the incredibly cheap brushes that I've bought, I found were much better than the ones that were 100 times more expensive. So the price doesn't necessarily seem to be the point. Do you use photo references or do you paint from memory? So I paint from memory to a certain extent, but mostly I paint from imagination. So it's not something I've thought out beforehand. It's kind of it follows what's already there. So I paint something from memory to begin with, kind of in a way, just kind of the sky or something. And then I kind of see what fits into it, and then it goes from there. So it's a kind of an organic process, if that makes any sense. Don't let people know your fingerprint. Very true. That's a cool signature, a fingerprint. Well, it's not necessarily intentional. I probably shouldn't have told you guys about that. Please do not, I shouldn't say that either. So there are no fingerprints anywhere on any of my work. Don't look for them. It's not necessary. That I think that has solved the problem. There are, of course, never any dog hairs either in the things that I do. Well, so I'm trying to become more professional as time goes by, and I think it's become quite a lot more professional than it was in the beginning. Oh my God. That's the problem when you make your hobby into your profession. Those kind of challenges come with it. That process reminds me of what Bob Ross did in his paintings. Yes, I have seen a few of Bob Ross's paintings. That is a bit similar. I will insist that I do more detailed work than Bob Ross did, but the general process is a bit similar, yes. And a lot of the things that I do, I kind of base on the things that I've done before. I really like that way of learning too. And then trying to improve upon it. So what you'll see in my work is that a lot of things kind of repeat, but change over time. So I kind of have different styles of winter or night or autumn that I've done a lot of times, and then I try to change them and make them better. So it's not a copy, but it's kind of a theme. I'm always a bit torn if people compare me with Bob Ross, because I think he was a wonderful painter, but it was obviously not terribly detailed. Your art is amazing. Wish you and Lena all the best from Magdalena. Oh, you too. Thank you so much. But I mean, a lot of the techniques from Bob Ross are brilliant. So if learning to paint, that's a wonderful thing. to look at some of his videos because they're kind of easy to learn techniques, especially in the beginning. But then if you want to paint a bit more detailed, you do have to go on. I've just got to grab a drink and snack. Back shortly. That is not a problem. I will be here for a while yet. Finally, I can listen and paint again. What have I missed? Oh, you missed quite a bit, cute animal still. We have been through quite a few different topics, living in the, well, a lot of the same topics that we usually touch upon. Living in the forest and ways of painting and so on. Let's see what happens. My first oil painting was actually based on a book I have about painting with Bob Ross. Oh, that's lovely. Yeah, I mean, he really turned into an incredible phenomenon, which is wonderful to actually put landscape painting on the map in such a way that he did. Sad to hear that he passed not too long ago. Oh, maybe it is quite a long time ago. I just remember hearing something about, I think it might have been about his estate or something. Hi from Indonesia. This is so calming. I am glad. So yeah, that's what I said. I've been trying to make these streams a bit more exciting. That's very difficult with live detailed painting on cups. But that it's calming is very good. And there are more than enough very exciting things available. So maybe some things just have to be calming. I'm a very detail-oriented in my work too. My art teacher would have us use these big pieces of chalk to draw so we could not focus on the detail. Oh yes, I can understand that, but I am really glad I didn't have an art teacher because that would have driven me absolutely bonkers. Apakanarfairon. That is probably not meant for me. I don't know what language that is. Yes, every time I watch his videos, they're just so calming to me. Your voice is very calm as well. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. That is very good for someone who would like to do quite a lot more of these streams. And it's just so lovely to have all of you guys along for this and be able to paint here and have all of you guys here along with me. Makes it it's a very, I can remember the first live stream I did. I was so nervous, but it really didn't really turn into this kind of a community feeling until I started talking, and that's really what made all the difference. And so as I keep saying, and a lot of you have heard thousands of times now, I am going to upgrade this live stream very soon, I hope, and so it'll be even more of an immersive experience. Apa kabar is Indonesian. It was for Fajar. I understand. Very good. I will try to remember that. And a lot of right, of course, it's getting later now, and a lot of new people are joining. Welcome to all of you. I think we're approaching the record for these live streams, with active people being there, it's wonderful. Yeah, it's turning into evening, and of course Sunday evening is probably the best time to do these streams. So what I would really like to have is if we then move this over to YouTube, we can have the screen in the other direction and have a bit more of a feel. How will you upgrade the live? Very good question. Exactly what I wanted to talk about. Thank you, Krasi. So what I want to do is I want to have two cameras, firstly. One like this on the details. Then I would like to have another one on me and the general setting, so that you can actually feel that you're more of a part of it, and sometimes I can turn a bit around and I can actually look into the camera and you can see more things around me. So there should be two cameras, and I would like to move it over to YouTube where I can have better quality. So I'll have an actual camera and I can have it in the other direction so that there's just more space. I can't stay the entire live stream this time, but till next time, and good evening to you all. Well, thank you for joining us, Emma, and until next time. You've stayed for a very long time. So thank you for your company, and we'll see you in the next one. So yeah, that is my plan for the live streams. And especially having the detailed one, and then especially for the oil paintings. I mean, this, for porcelain painting, for instance, that this is not much of a problem because it's in this direction anyway. But for instance, for an oil painting, it's incredibly annoying because I can't fit the entire thing onto the screen, and sometimes I'm doing details, but you can't see the entire painting. So that will be really good to upgrade. And of course, I mean, to be able to have more of the entire scenery here, and I can set up with some candles, and it can be much more of a world, really. And then figure out if there's some light background music I can play without being kicked out. Would be lovely as well. Thank you too. Bye. Oh, I think you're saying that to Emma. Or... oh. Okay, let's see. I think we're almost done with this tree. There's one more tree on the other side of the cup, but then the landscape first. Yeah, I did really think I was going to get through all of the 12 ones, but there's just so much to do on each of these cups, much more than I thought. When I really get into these details, they can kind of go on forever. But I think it's going to turn out more three-dimensional now. So yeah, I then hope, of course, that I can get you guys to flip over onto YouTube. I'm going to have to see if I can make the notifications proper. But I know that quite a lot of you have been here for such a long time now that I can probably convince you to switch over to another platform. Because what I found in Instagram is that the quality isn't very good, and I have to have it in this direction. Do you have your own channel on YouTube? Yes, I do. That's Joachim Ingolstadt as well. And that's where I upload these live streams to, and I have some other videos there too, but it's not very well developed. But yeah, so that's Joachim Ingolstadt on YouTube. Do you have your... oh, that was the same. Did you make a break from painting over the holidays? Yes, I did have a short break. I mean, a week or two, maybe. After our last launch. If I weren't minimalistic, I would have wanted to buy this cup. However, we only buy things we really need or could really use, preferably refurbished or secondhand, but not in this case, of course. I can very much respect that. But maybe at some point, someone will sell their cup secondhand to a store, and maybe you'll find it in secondhand. I am sure soon there will be more than enough cups and glasses going around that maybe you'll find it there. I actually have to flip to Instagram for you and color, so YouTube is my first choice, actually. All right. So that will work very well then. And I think most people who have Instagram do have YouTube too. So yeah, I did want to make some more videos in YouTube, but I found that just all of my time goes to this. So if I want to do and make things for YouTube, it will have to be things I do while I work, so like this. So that would be a nice way of combining it. Do you have to work these cups in layers, wait for them to dry? Yes, well, I don't have to wait for them to dry. I have to put them in a kiln. So I burn them at 800 degrees Celsius, and then it merges with the glaze that's underneath. Basically merges with the cup. And then I can keep painting. So it's like painting in layers with an oil painting or something. Just that you, instead of waiting for it to dry, because this doesn't ever dry completely, because it can't stick to the cup, it doesn't seep in. You burn it, and then you have your new layer. So it is very similar. It's just that the The drying is different. How is your camera setup right now? Do you use your phone in between yourself and the object, wondering how comfortable you currently have it painting? So yes, that is exactly what I do. So I have the camera right in between me and what I'm painting, because I do need to see the chat, which is actually quite comfortable. I would usually, when I do these kind of details, be a bit closer to the cup, so I have to be a bit further away than I usually am. But otherwise, it's quite similar. How many times do you have to fire one cup usually? Oh, that's up to 7 to 10 times, so quite a few times. So it takes at least a week for a cup to be finished. Just because I have to fire it overnight, it takes quite a long time. Good point, Katya says. There simply is enough stuff on this planet, so that's why I have stopped buying new stuff. With an exception that I will definitely buy a lantern of you one day. Well, maybe you can find a second-hand lantern too. We have... I did have a project to paint on second-hand things. But then I found that I really, really enjoy the fact that to have the same things to paint on, the same kind of design, because I have such a large amount. But I am sure I will at some point find, my plan was to find old things in antique stores of porcelain, for instance, and then paint on that. And that would probably fit better into a more environmentally friendly way of doing it. So maybe I can find lanterns secondhand in an antique store and paint on that, and I think that would fit better in what I find is a very laudable way of doing it. It's just not practical for me at the moment. What is its price? So these I sell for $95 at the moment. So we sell them in our Art of Nature store. And so that's the price. Oh wow, that's a long process. Yes, it is. It's worth it in the end. I'm familiar with ceramics, so it's kind of similar. Yes, it is. It's basically the same as ceramics. It's just a bit, I think the temperature is a bit higher. I love that idea. Yes, definitely more environmentally friendly. And yes, I applaud that. So I'll have to, at least for the unique things that I want to do, for instance, larger porcelain pieces. So more unique things. And they could definitely be on the things that I found in an antique store. I think that would be a very, very nice way of kind of honoring things that are old but still have some life left in them. Do you think they would last the firing process? That sounds scary to me. Well, yes, they do. Of course, I have fired quite a lot of things that then got destroyed. But that's a part of the learning process, but now everything survives. I did once actually fire because I have the glasses and my cups in the same kiln. But glass I burn on 600 degrees and glasses and porcelain on 800. And I did manage to have about 15 glasses that I forgot to change the temperature. And I fired them at 800 degrees, and when I opened up, they were all completely melted and, destroyed, basically. So things can happen, awful, horrible things can happen, but it hasn't happened in a while, and everything seems to survive now. And so if I fire it at too high, for instance, the gold can just disappear. So there are a lot of different hiccups, but after a lot of trial and error, most things do survive. It's like everything else. Every time you start with something new, there's so much to learn. And porcelain painting has definitely been a learning process. Sometimes I would take it out of the oven and all the paint had just run along the sides. Of course, just completely destroying the painting. I'm so sorry. That's okay. It was horrible. But thankfully they weren't. Some of them are quite far along, but it wasn't as bad as it could have been. Oh, you had to be sad when it got destroyed. It was not good. But as Senpai says, mistakes are a very good way of learning, and you definitely don't do it twice. And I do actually like learning through mistakes. Being self-taught, that is really the only way that I can learn, and things really stick. So while it was not a nice experience, it taught me to be much more vigilant about the temperatures. And I think things have cracked and things have got, I mean, I've destroyed so many things in the learning process. That's actually one of the reasons now why I have every cup is gold or silver rimmed, so that the bottom doesn't crack, so I can paint on the entire thing. Yes, I agree. You learn through your own mistakes. Yes, very efficient, although time-consuming. So it's kind of it sticks, is what I mean by efficient. But of course, sometimes you do make a lot of mistakes that you could have just had one course and you wouldn't make any of them. But it's a different kind of learning. And I'm sure there are lots of mistakes that I still do that I have no idea about. But I think most of the most egregious ones I have gotten through. Ah, yes, I did forget how many branches I had painted on this tree. My plan was to just paint really quickly on this one and then move on. But I remember that the last layer that I did the day before yesterday, I added about half as many branches again as were there. So I kind of forgotten how many branches there are here. And the problem with white on porcelain is that it often disappears quite a bit. So I have to kind of layer it on quite thickly, and it will still quite a bit of the color will disappear. So I've done this twice already. It's just disappeared every time. Some of it sticks, but I hope that this time it'll prove a bit more permanent. Have you ever tried pyrography? You know, when you're drawing on wood by burning it. Right, yeah. I haven't tried it. Lena actually has a pen like that. It would be kind of fun. But no, I haven't tried it yet. But definitely, it seems quite a bit more like drawing, because obviously you don't have any colors. But it could be fun. I mean, we have it, but what we found is that it's difficult to do really fine details. I mean, I suppose it depends on the wood, but the wood that we had, the details didn't really stick. Thank you for this, Joachim. I must be going, but I will keep my eye out for future videos. Cheers. Well, thank you for joining the stream, Heather, and you're welcome back for the next one. And yeah, so have a good rest of your day. Yeah, I think the stream must surely be going for at least 2 hours now. But I think there's still a bit left in it. Oh my god, I've done 4 cups now. I really thought we were going to get through all 12, but there is just no way. And it's turned pyrography is so cool from Agate. Yeah, it's definitely something I can take more of a look at. It just have so much to do already that there's not that much room for more at the moment. What I really would like to take you guys along with, especially if I can get the new live stream set up, is that I have a huge canvas now that I would like to paint on. And that will be a lot of fun, and that will be, I'm going to film it anyway, but I would like to have it a bit on the live stream, but I can't really do it on the phone because it's much bigger than the image I can get here, while preserving any kind of detail. Oh, let's see here. Yeah, so this is just really to make it deeper and more three-dimensional, to get all of these white branches. I'm really glad that I didn't do more trees. 2 of these are more than enough. I sometimes do that. Start by just plopping down lots and lots of trees, forgetting that I do have to finish them all. And then you can get incredible. I love detail work and just moving from branch to branch, but sometimes it can just get too much. But I think this will turn out well. Hope. So yeah, I bought I think a canvas that's about 2 or 3 times bigger than anything I've done in years, to actually get some really large painting finally. And it's going to be an enormous snow landscape inspired by the nature here, and I'm really looking forward to taking you guys along. It truly is so beautiful, I find. How much did your burner cost and how much energy does it take? Well, I actually bought that second hand, so it was about 300 pounds, which is a lot less than what they usually cost. I have no idea how much energy it takes. We have to turn off all of the heaters here. So in that sense, it doesn't take any more energy than we would use anyway, because everything has to be turned off when it's on. But I mean quite a bit. But I think less than you'd think. Because of course it's a self-contained heater. But it gets really warm, and the entire room gets really warm when you have it on. So probably quite a bit. It's so as I said, it goes up to 800 degrees and it takes like 6-7 hours to get up, and then it takes quite a long time to cool down. So it's quite a bit of energy. And I do need a new one soon, because it's very old. But it's so big that I can get 18 cups in at one time. So in that sense, each cup doesn't take that much energy. It's and that really helps the process. And with glass, it takes a lot less because the temperatures don't have to be as high. So let's see, I think we have, maybe 1 or 2 branches here, and then at the bottom, and then a bit on the landscape, and then we'll have to see if there is time to do yet another one, or if this is it for today. I think 2 to 2.5 hour stream is probably sufficient. And once I can upgrade it all a bit, we can do even longer ones. Great to hear that it heats the room. Yeah, so you get 2 uses out of it, so it's basically a heater at the same time. Is it loud too? No, it's not very loud. It just makes a little buzzing sound, but it's not very loud. It's wonderful how long you're making this live stream with that harmony here in the stream. Well, I'm glad you think so. Yes, I found that I calm down and the stream gets more lively, and everything kind of settles once it's at least 1 hour in. So I do really enjoy making these streams long, and I am sure that they're going to get even longer. It's a very nice stream. Oh, thank you, Senpai. Oh, what would be just incredible is when I can get that new setup I keep harping on about. I can well, for instance, you would be able to see all of the different cups standing there next to me the entire time. There could be more of an environment. You can have some paintings there. You would be able to see the materials I have, and so there would be much more to see. Will be much more to see. But of course, I would have to watch my appearance more. Which, what's your longest stream? I think there was one stream that went on for 3.5 hours. I think that was the longest one. Because when I paint, I just kind of forget about the time, and then suddenly it's been going for hours. And of course, if you could do the stream with the huge painting, that would be a lot of fun. And just, I mean, with the paintings at all, because the oil paintings, it's often always the problem that I either have to sacrifice seeing the entire painting or the details. But I think, oh, welcome, Rahel. That, again, kind of kills my plan, I think, with stopping the stream after this one. So I still, well, we can at least begin another cup. So this is actually the closest that I can get to just really detailed painting. On glass, it doesn't get as detailed because you can see the light in the background. And with oil painting, yeah, it's either very close or it's not as detailed. But here you can see the entire thing, and it's still, the detail is quite good, but it's not, I mean, it's not as good as I would like it. And I think with an actual professional camera, that will be a lot better. And we got a lovely Christmas card from Rahel. I'm going to take this opportunity to just thank you. That was wonderful. It was really appreciated. It's a long time. Oh, there, only 20% left on my battery. And I didn't actually make this setup good enough to have a charger nearby. So I think that might be an automatic limiting factor for the stream. Oh, oh no. Yeah, I can't get out of the stream without actually ending it. And it keeps going dark here. But I'm going to keep it going until it's so annoying that it doesn't work anymore. So yeah, there are a few things to be desired. Okay, let's see. So I'm just going to put some snow on top of the last tree. Hey, happy and New Year. I'm so happy that the card arrived. Oh, it was so nice of you to send it. It was such a lovely card. And it's always very special to actually get something handwritten these days with a lovely handwriting. Oh, thank you. And from Lena too. Oh, there it goes again. There we are. So if I'm muttering a bit, it's because my screen keeps flipping off. So that was really wonderful. I have to check out and start making dinner for my boys, Lynn says. Thank you so much for this lovely live stream. Well, thank you for joining. And perhaps I'll see you next time. Hope you have a lovely dinner. Yeah, so Rahel, you kind of joined at the very end of this stream. I am sorry about that, but I am going to upload this to YouTube. And since we have better internet here, it should be there pretty quickly. So at least it's available. Do you guys feel already settled in the new home and feel comfortable there? Yes, we do. We have very much settled in. Yeah, it's just so incredibly beautiful here. So we are really happy with our choice. And I have actually found a local painting club where I hope I'm actually gonna go there on Thursday, which is just really lovely. So there's actually a community here, and there are painters, even though there are about 2,000 people living in the entire area. That sounds nice, Senpai. He said yes. Yeah, it really does. It's not something I've been a part of ever. So that's going to be fun. Thanks for spending your time with us here. You're very welcome, Katya. And thank you in return for spending your time here. This wouldn't be very meaningful without you guys joining me. Is the next stream on YouTube? Well, probably... I don't know. It all depends on if I can get the setup going. Probably not the next, but it depends on how long it takes for my next stream, really. But I hope so. Happy to hear it. It looked amazing in the video. What a great place. Oh, how far is the club away from the house? It's about 20-minute drive, I think. How much can you rent a house like yours for? So it's a few thousand krones a month. So that would be, I mean, between 400 and 600 dollars. No problem. It was wonderful to get a small glimpse, nevertheless, Rahel says. I hope Ivy is doing well. Ivy is doing very well. He has settled. He loves the area here. Lots and lots of reindeer tracks, which is very exciting. So yeah, he is doing very well. So what we're hoping is to find some friends for him in the area. But there are lots of dogs that we have seen already that look friendly, and maybe we can get to know them. So on this one, there's not much to do other than just making the snowflakes a bit stronger. So that's really all the everything I can actually do here. The background I can't paint too much on because that's going to interfere with the snow. But what I did want, I just wanted to have at least the big snowflakes come out a bit further and be a bit shinier. So that's really the only thing that I'm doing here. Which is why I'm just painting on top of the snowflakes that are there. Because every time I paint white, when I burn it in the kiln, it goes away a bit. So it has to be done in layers. I was just wondering if you maybe adopt a second dog. Well, we have been thinking about it. But probably not. It's probably a bit too much, and the idea is for horses too, and so on. But there are some plans in the works that I'm not gonna I'm not gonna say too much about yet. But if everything works out, there might be a neighbor dog who lives there permanently, right next to us, that Ivy could see almost every day. So he might very well have a buddy very soon, at any rate. We all want news about Ivy, absolutely. There, he's a very strong presence here. I actually don't think he would like to have another dog living with us, necessarily. He's very his own person, and he usually, when he gets to know other dogs, he kind of gets sick of them pretty quickly. But to have a friend around the corner would be brilliant, so that he could have some dog company. He's been very, very excited about all the reindeers here. And keep having to put him on a leash the second we see the reindeers. Thankfully, he hasn't managed to chase them yet. I think he got a bit surprised what they actually were. He has never seen reindeer before. A very strange kind of moose or a thin cow. I'm not entirely sure what he thought. Ivy don't want to share the couch. That is exactly it. And the fact that other dogs can get attention, I think that's just horror. I mean, he's already convinced that he gets way too little attention. I think the record was that someone actually petted him for 5 hours, and that was apparently not enough. He is a very special personality. I mean, some sharing his food and his place to sleep with someone, I think that would be a no-go. But I mean, the really raucous dog playing games are really difficult for humans to participate in, so we really need a friend for him. That would be wonderful. This reminds me of a video that went viral in the UK. A dog called Fenton causing havoc in the park with deer. Oh, I think I have seen that. Nothing bad. The owner was quite funny. Yes, I actually did see that video. Yeah, something like that could very easily happen. So we have to make sure that very much doesn't. That's not a way that I would like to go viral. Oh no. And I don't think that the reindeer herders would be very happy with that. So I'm very, very careful. Because this area is an area inhabited by the southern Sami people, indigenous people in Norway, and they are the ones that have semi-wild reindeer herds, which is wonderful. And that's the reason we have so many reindeers here. How old is Ivy? He is turning 6 now. So the years are passing. Thankfully, he's not very old, but it's getting along. Farmers have the right to shoot dogs if they cause trouble with the sheep around here. Yeah, that's the thing with the reindeer too. So it's and especially if the reindeer have children, for instance, or they're pregnant, that could be very, very wrong. Very, very bad. So this is part of the reason why I am incredibly careful with Ivy around the deer. So I think basically there's not that much to do on this one. I just kind of wanted to show it, and I wanted to have have it a bit wider. But I think that this is it for now. So I am going to turn my screen to well, can't really turn it much. I'm going to put this here, and I'm going to do a bit of cleaning of the brushes, not to do this too abrupt. So I'm going to clean my brushes while I say goodbye to you all, and thank you for joining me. I can show you the cups that we've been painting today one more time. And this was the one that we started with. And I thank everyone for joining me. It's always so nice to have these live streams. I'm hopeful that I can upgrade them soon and it can be even more immersive. Thank you, Senpai, for joining. Thank you, Cute Animal Stones and Krusty. You guys are some of the absolutely most loyal followers for these streams. Thank you, Joachim. Amazing work again. Thank you for the nice stream, and see you next time from Cute Animal Stones. Thank you, guys. Elizabeth Ryder too. You have also become very dear participant in the streams. Nice to see you again. Looking forward to next time. Wish you all a good time. You too, Elizabeth. So yeah, and next time perhaps it'll be some oil painting or something. Bye everyone. Thanks, Joachim, for sharing. Well, thank you, Agata. You are very much. And Leah too. Yeah, there are so many. And Susan, of course. And Rahel, thank you. Next time, and hopefully you can have it a bit longer after you join, Rahel. Thank you so much for the card, and thank you so much for joining me here. I always have such a good time. And it's it's just evolved into such a wonderful time here that I always look forward to the next one. thank you for the stream. From Coquinel, thank you for joining. I think you're quite new. So maybe, oh, and there we have me. So I can wave to you guys and say bye. And until next time. Let's see if I can actually flip this off, and goodbye.